Good evening, Vivek. We are going to start in few minutes, okay? Let others also join. Good evening, Vishal and Vivek. I guess today students have not joined. This is not good because for
Good evening,
certification,
sir.
attendance is mandatory. Those who are not joining, I will just note those names who are joining the session regularly and provide the certificate to them only. So if they are not joining, then they will face the issue regarding that. Okay, so we are not going to wait much. Let's start with our express session. Okay. Just a minute. Let me share my screen. Okay, so I guess my screen is visible. So first of all, we are going to see that what is Express.js, why we use it. Okay, so Express.js is most popular Node.js application framework. Just a second. Yes. So it is basically a framework which is most popular among the other frameworks. Okay, so we use this for designing our web application according to us, which are lightweighted, fast in use, okay, and also flexible. It often called the de facto standard server framework for Node.js. What are the key characteristics for Express.js? First of all, minimal and flexible means you can write your code according to you and create your website for application at your end. Then unopinionated, use it up, decide how to structure your app, lightweight and fast, as Express is fast, okay, in fetching the data from APIs and different things. And also there are some built-in function which we use that make them fast and lightweight. Extensible through middlewares. Now there is a concept called middleware, which is there in Express only, not in Node.js. So that's why we also use it. So middleware are basically the bridge elements between your response to request cycle. We are going to see about this in the upcoming section also, but just right now, Express provide you the functionality of middleware and routes also. Huge ecosystem of plugin and extension. Now, why choose Express.js? That we have Node.js, then why we are actually using this Express.js? Express.js provide a thin layer of fundamental web applications feature without obscuring Node.js features. Means it provides a robust routing system. A robust routing system means at wherever you are executing your code, eh, in order to different operating system and different platform, it can be executed over there. Then HTTP helpers, like there were HTTP module in our Node.js, but here you can write that particular code and create your server in just few lines as compared to the HTTP module. Support for middleware to respond to HTTP request. Okay, so as we know that there is something called middleware which we can access in Express.js. A templating engine for dynamic HTML rendering. Whatever you are going to change, it will be rendered to your application. Then error handling middleware. Just a second. Yes, then there is error handling middleware. Error handling middleware actually pass the error to the next middleware over there, which is there in the sequence. We are going to see one by one about them. So just a second. Okay. Now, getting started with Express. So first of all, if you want to use Express in your application, you have to install it globally or locally at your system. Okay. So for that, the command is npm install Express. We are going to move to VS Code to see this through an example also. So let me just open my VS Code first. Okay. Create a folder at your end. I'm going to create folder like open folder. Here I'm going to create a new folder having name Express tutorial. Okay, going to select it. So this is how we have created a folder inside it. Now I'm going to create a file inside it, which is index.js. Created a file. Now open the terminal from here. Okay. And in the previous classes, I have told you that how we can initialize a package into our project. So for that, what we have to do, we have to use npm init -y. npm init -y. So it basically install your packet.json. Why I have added this over here? Because suppose if I want to install any dependency, then it can be shown over here in the dependency section. First of all, let's install Express. So npm install Express. Okay, so let's install Express over here. It is happening over here. You can now, if I go to my packet.json, see here in the dependency section, it is showing me that Express is installed with the current version over there. Okay, so this is the benefit of packet.json, that you can track everything regarding your project, which is essential for you to know. Okay, then after this, this is the basic example we are going to see about it, and we'll check that how it is different from our Node.js. Okay, so yes, do that. Let's do that. Const express equal to require express. Now, if you have installed any dependency and you want to use it in your project, you have to import that. So for importing in common JS module, what we have to do, we have to use, just a second, we have to use require express, means import this express module. After that, you are creating an app instance of your Express library. Okay, here you are calling Express function, which is creating an instance for Express having name app. So that whenever you want to use some built-in function there or methods over there, you can simply call them using this app. Then initializing a port number so that you can create your own server, and it can be hosted on this particular port number. Now see, this is something which we have not seen in Node.js part. Let's see what it is saying. App.get. I have already told you about four methods, which are get, post, put, and delete. Okay. Post, put, delete. We are going to see this get will go to a particular route and provide you the response of that particular route. Okay. So see what is happening. App.get, go to this slash route. I will tell you that how you can access this slash route from your requested URL. Okay. Then it will call a arrow function having your request object and having your response object. Now in response, what they are sending, that when the user will actually trigger this or access this slash route, provide the response as this, means hello world from Express. And after that, you want to see this response in the web browser. So for that, start that port like app.listen at the particular port, and console example is running on localhost colon whatever the port number you have provided over here. Now, difference between Node.js and Express. In Node.js, for the simple thing like creating a server, we have to use multiple line of code. Like I have to create http dot create server. Okay, inside that a callback a arrow function which will start my server accordingly, and then this app dot listen. But are you able to see that through Express you can directly create your server and it will listen to you at this? How it is possible? Because you are using instance of your Express library, and it is listening to a particular route. So it will be more clear when we actually execute this code. Okay, so let me go to my VS code. In my index.js, I'm going to paste this code. Okay, so when I will start the server like node space index.js. Okay, so it is saying that it is listening at localhost colon 8080. So let's check it on localhost 8080. So are you able to see this slash is by default hidden? Like we are actually getting our route over. Wait. So basically there is a forward slash on which it is accessing the get request, and it is providing us hello world from Express. Whatever is written over there, whenever you access this particular route, it will show you the output written inside it. Just a minute. Okay. So suppose if I change the route name, if I name it app.get/hello. Now I'm going to, from here, I'm going to use nodemon, because if I want to change something and see it to the browser, nodemon will give me the access for that instantly. So nodemon space index.js means the file name. It is saying that server is started at localhost colon 8080. Now suppose if I am executing it, so it is saying that cannot get slash route, means user they are unable to find the slash route output because I have changed the name for that slash route to slash hello. So now if I want to see the output, what I have to do, I have to write slash and then this hello over here. Now if I click enter over here, are you able to see? We are able to find our output. You can do like this. Suppose if I want to create multiple app.get method over here, I can do that at my end so that we can check it accordingly. Like here, I am just changing the name of routes every time. Suppose this is hi, and here I want message like hi from Express. Okay, so just checking that how we can express the routes. Okay, what is the concept of route? Then this hello to Vanch. Okay, so different routes are there and you can accordingly change that. Okay, hello from Vanch. Okay, so let's check this, that if a user hit the endpoint like slash hi, so what will he get as an output? So for hello, you have already seen the output. I am changing it to hi. And let's see, is the output changing or not? Yes, it is changed and it is like hi from Express. Suppose if I change it to Vanch, then let's see about output. Yes, it is saying hello from Vanch. So how it is happening? Because as in your requested URL, you are actually hitting a particular endpoint, and App Express is going to provide you the response for that particular endpoint accordingly. Okay, so that's why we are getting this. I guess it is clear to you. Let me just copy this code and paste it at your end so that you can also try this. Quite simple things, but still you have to execute. Clear to everyone that what we are doing, how Express works. Okay, great, Vivek. Good. Okay, so this is how we can use our Express. Now, just a second. Yeah, we have seen it that how we are going to use that. Now there is some basic routing, means like here you can see app.get we were using for routing at a particular endpoint, which is slash. So there are different method in our express.js which we can use to actually manipulate our data accordingly. So for app.get, we handle get request. For app.post, we handle post request. App.put used for update some elements over there. Okay. App.delete, delete some data. App.all means handle all HTTP methods. So this is actually a code which is which we can use for seeing the different method over there, like get method is there, post method is there, and then this all method is there. So let's try to see this. Okay, so first of all, what is happening over here, that we have created our imported our Express library, created its instance having name app, and declared a port number 8080. Now when the user will have hit this slash endpoint, then he will get the output as get request to the home page. Now, suppose if you want to put this app.post over there, okay, like app.post slash, then you can see the response in the postman. is like a client tool from which you can send your request or other method. I will let you know about this also when we go to VS Code. Okay. Then this app.get slash about, when user will hit this particular endpoint slash about, he will get the response as about page. Now there is app.all, means every other endpoints, if user are going to hit, they will get the error like 404 page not found. So let me just try to execute this code in VS Code. Okay. Like here it is. I have pasted the code over here. See, it is saying me app crashed, waiting for the file change before starting. It is providing me some errors because we are using app.all and asterisk. But this was used in the old version of Express. Right now, if you want to use it for every other routes, you have to use app.use. Okay. So now the code is actually good to execute. Let's try to see the output for slash about so that I can get the response about page. Okay. So let's try to see that are we getting about page or not if we are hitting the endpoint about over there. Yes, we are getting it. So this is how you can send the get request. But if there is a post request, you can't hit actually this post request through the browser. Web browser only enables you to handle the get request. For sending the post request, put request, delete request, we use tools like Postman, Hopscotch, Thundercline, and others. Okay, so I am going to tell you about Postman. So just do one thing at your end, that try to install Postman over here. Like some of you are also installed it at your end, but I have installed it in my VS Code also. So please do that at your end. If there is Postman at your system, then no worry. We are going, the concept is same. Just I am going to show it from here only. Okay. So just install it at your end. For me, it is installed. Like here, if you can see, it is showing me that new HTTP request. And then I will let you know that how we can handle the post request through Postman. Okay. So before that, just pasting this code at your end. Okay. Good, Vishal. Okay. So just try to execute this code at your end. Okay. What change you have to do in the website? They have given it like this, like app.all and then asterisk. This actually used in the older version of Express. But right now, as we are using the latest version, so the syntax will change accordingly. So that's why I have changed it to app.use and then the function for it. Okay, so just do that and give me 2-3 minutes. I have to join another meeting. Then we are going to continue from our Postman, that how we can send the post request. This is the interface for it. From here, you can select the post. Here you have to give the URL and send it to get the response. We are going to continue with it. Just 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, I'm joining. Just a second. Hello. Sorry, from where my screen was stopped. Okay, I guess. Hello, can someone please let me know that from where my screen was stopped? Okay, good Manali, good Isha. Is postman section was visible to you or not? Okay, so I was talking about this portion like route parameters, how we can access a particular route. Okay, and that value will be elaborated in our expression. So for that, we are using template literals, which are going to fetch that particular information from our requested URL.
Sir, please
So,
on the screen sharing. Sir, your screen is not showing.
sorry, what Vishal?
Sir, your screen is not showing. Sir, आपने screen share नहीं करी.
Not getting your voice properly, sorry. Okay, okay. Now it is visible. Actually,
Sorry,
when I
sir. Yes,
noticed,
yes,
then the
visible. It's
screen
visible.
was stopped and also my mic was unmuted. So that's why I was asking that up to which I have covered. So please let me know that up to which portion I have covered it so that I can continue from there. Okay, on Postman. Oh, actually, okay. So let me just tell you that actually I have forgot to share my screen and unmute this mic button. Okay, so that's why I actually elaborated all the things, but that was not visible to you. Okay, okay. So just a second. So I have done it. Let me just tell it from here, guys, because I have already done other portion over here. So I was actually saying you that how you're going to do it through Postman. So first of all, you have to select a particular method from here. Are you able to see that there are multiple methods like get, post, put, delete, others method are there. So first of all, select a particular method on which you have to hit the particular endpoint. So we have selected this slash post over there. Now enter the URL on which URL you want to get this post request to be sent. So we want it to HTTP localhost colon 8080 and add this slash endpoint. Okay. So when I have sent it that, then it will provide me a response which is written over there like post request to the home page. So every one of you are also getting that. So similar thing, we have done it. Okay. Now after this, actually I was telling about this. See, we have covered this portion. Now I was talking about this route parameter, that how we can use it and how we can fetch the value from this colon prefix over here. Route parameters are named URL segment that capture value at specific position in the URL. Means they have some values inside the URL and you have to fetch that accordingly to get the particular output. They are specified in the path with the colon prefix. Means if there is a colon prefix inside your URL, that value can be fetched from your URL. Okay. And instead of these value, you have to provide a particular value. So to fetch them, we use request.params. As you can see here, request.params is the thing which we have to use to access that particular value. So actually, I was telling about this code. So let me just go to my VS Code and then I'm going to explain it that what is happening over here. See, first of all, const express require express means you are actually importing your express library. Here in second line, you are creating an instance of that express library having name app and which will listen to us at a particular port number which is 8080. Now what will happen, that app.get hit this particular endpoint for getting your output like slash URL slash user ID slash books and then the book ID. Okay. So in response, what you will get, first user ID will be written over there. Then request dot parameters that from the requested URL, search the value for this user ID. Whatever user ID you are going to provide, it will fetch it from the URL and provide the output accordingly. Like user ID, suppose if I share here 15, then 15 will return over here. Then book ID, whatever book ID you are going to pass, it will tell you that particular book ID. So this is what I was explaining while my mic and screen was off. Okay, so I have actually executed it. So let's try to see that how we are doing it. So first of all, see here, just a second. Suppose if I enter it for slash route, then it is showing me like cannot get slash because it is defined for a particular endpoint which is slash users, then a particular user ID. Suppose if I want to provide 115, okay, then after this the books, and for this we have to define a particular book ID, suppose 114. Now if I enter this, then are you able to see this user ID has the value 10115 from here, which is the user's ID, and this 114 from use book ID. How it is accessible? Through request.params. From this section, you are actually finding the value for the requested things from your URL. Okay, so this is what we are doing over here. So just try it at your end. I guess it is clear. If there is any confusion, then you can ask. And I want output from everyone. I can see that Manali, Isha, Vivek, Vishal, these guys are sharing their output. So I want it from everyone. Vishal, actually, params is not like parameters, but it is a built-in feature over there, which we use to access the values from the parameters. Like this slash user ID, colon user ID is actually a router parameter over there for which we have to use request.params over there. So you can think it as a parameter, okay? Like it can give us value from our parameters. So for that, we use that. Like here, you can see this colon user ID. This colon means that when you are passing this request URL, you have to provide some value over there. Okay. So if this colon is as a prefix over there, then you have to pass the value. And through this request.params, you can fetch the value of that parameter. So that's why we use request.params. Okay, so everyone please try to execute it at the end. For getting the output, you have to hit this endpoint like slash users, then the ID for it, then books, and then the particular ID. So let me just copy it. You can change the value accordingly. Just provide the output in the chat box. Okay, good, Vishal. What about others? Only he has shared the output. Okay. So after this, there is another thing having query parameter. Like query parameter are key value pairs. Like after question mark, whatever we send over there in our requested URL, that is known as query parameter. Okay. So this is the example illustrating that how you can access that. Okay. So let's try to see this, what is written over here. Then we are going to execute it. These three lines are now actually every one of you are familiar with. Importing your Express library, creating an instance for it, and then calling it at a particular port number, which is 8080. Now you want to get the output for this particular route over there, which is slash search. So when user will come to this slash search, then what will happen? That from request.query, it will ask a queue value and a category parameter. Means that after this slash search, there will be a question mark and then there will be a query in our requested URL. And that query, from that query, we are destructuring these values, the value of queue, the value of category. Okay. And in response, what we will get? In response, we will get like search query, then the value of queue, then a category, and inside that category, the output for that particular category. Okay. So let's try to execute it, then it will be more clear. So just a second. Here it is. So I am pasting the same code over here. No change in that. Okay. So like what you have to do, first of all, you have to hit this endpoint, which is slash search. Okay. So just go to this here, change it like, okay. Now what I have to do, I have to go to slash search route over there. Then after that, what we have to do, they are requesting us, they want to fetch something from our query. So we have to provide a query in our requested URL. So how can we provide the query over there? Use a question mark. Then you have to use the Q value, the category value over there. Okay. So suppose if I'm going to use Q equal to 10, and after this, we want to use the category. Okay. So how we can pass the category over there? Use AND operator. Okay, then category and the value for category, like suppose books. Okay, when you are going to enter this, are you able to see the output? Like it is saying search query, the value 10 for this queue, and then the category, the value of category is books. So we are getting this books over there. How it is coming? It is coming from this line of code. What this line of code is doing? First of all, these two lines of code we have to see. First of all, what is happening from our requested URL? We are only picking the queries which are queue and category. Okay. And these values is now sent as the response at the website. Okay. Like search query, then the value of queue, and the category, then the value of category. So this is what we have to do. Here, the same thing we have done, that after this slash search path, we have appended a query, and this query have value of queue and category. Why we have used queue and category over here? Because only that is what is destructuring from our requested URL. Suppose if there will be change in the name, like here, if I use category 1, so are you able to see that? Just a second, let me just also change it to category 1 and then check the output for it. So if I refresh it, so it is showing me none. Why? Because here we have appended the condition, like if category is not matched over there, like you have not sent the category, then it will provide you the default category as none. Okay. And why it is not accessing the category now? Because you have sent it only category, and there was category 1. So if I put over here category 1 and then execute this, then it is showing me this books over there. Okay, so this is how we can execute our code accordingly, and we can convert our requested URL as per our requirement. So the component must be clear in your mind that what are the different components, how you are going to frame them accordingly. Okay, good Shraddha, good Vivek. Just also try to execute this bit of code. Okay, good Abhishek, good Isha. That's good. What about you, Shraddha? Are you facing any issue? Okay, now we are going to see what is middleware. So before starting it, let's go to the next section, which is middleware concept. Now it will be more clear to you. Okay. So first of all, middleware. Before understanding this middleware, you have to know about the request and response cycle. Like what will happen as a client if you are sending a request, that request will hit your backend, and from there you will get some response, and that response will be uh, send it to your web browser or your output screen. Now, in this process, what will happen that suppose if there are multiple requests, okay, and you have to parse each and every request at a particular point. Okay, so for that, we are going to use middleware. Middlewares are the in between segments in your request to response phase. Like there, suppose if there is a request coming from client, then it will be handled through different middlewares over there, and that will be checked that is the request correct or not. If the request is not correct, then the middleware has the power to actually can end that request response cycle. Okay, if the request is correct, if the output is there in the first middleware, it will provide the output and end the cycle. Otherwise, it will share it to the next middleware over there. Then so on, you will get the uh, output of your particular request. So that's how it is passed to the response phase starting from your request phase. So that's why we use middleware. Middleware is a key part of Node.js web application, particularly in Express.js. It provides a way to add and reuse common functionality. Like for every middleware, you write a bit of code and that is reusable. Whenever you are calling that middleware or whenever you are actually hitting the particular slash endpoints, then you will get the access to that particular code which is written over there inside your middleware, and it will act accordingly as its definition. Okay, so there are some key characteristics of a middleware. Like the characteristics are during the request executes during the request response cycle. As I have already told you that there is a particular cycle over there, which is request response cycle. So middlewares are inside in between them. Okay, so can modify request and response object. So according to the need, they can also modify your request and response object. Can end the request response cycle. Suppose if you are entering some wrong validation and there is a validation middleware verification middleware over there, then it will check that if the requests are with the uh, right credentials or not. If the credentials are correct, then it will tell you the output for that. Otherwise, it will end that request response cycle over there. Can call the next middleware. There is a next function over there in the middleware which calls the next middleware in the chain. Okay. Can be application level, route level, and route specific. Route specific means a middleware can be for application level means inside your whole application you can use that middleware. Router level means that for a specific route you are going to call that middleware. Suppose if I am creating a router middleware, then it will be only called then it will be only called when you are hitting that particular endpoint. Okay, so this is how this middleware things will work. It act as a bridge between raw request and the final indented router handler. Means it actually, as the name is suggesting, middleware, it is something which is in middle of something. Okay, it act as a middleman over there, which actually handles all the things like ending request response cycle, executing request response cycle, checking all the validation and verification function. Okay, so like this it can work. Middleware functions now core middleware function has these things. First of all, a request object, a response object, and a next middleware over there, which calls the upcoming middleware in the chain. Okay. Middleware function can perform a variety of tasks like execute any code, modify request and response object, and the request response cycle call the next middleware. We have already seen it. What is middleware? A function which is reusable, have a bit of segment of code which you have to call if you want to uh, end or execute request response cycle, if you want to update your request object or response object. Okay, so before getting the actual response from the backend, your request has to pass these middlewares for that. Okay, think middleware of a series of processing layers that request pass through before receiving a response, like an assembly of HTTP requests. So this is simple thing. As I have already told you that before getting the actual response, your request has to pass through different middlewares over there, which verify your request that it is correct or not. If that is correct, then it will pass it to the response phase. Otherwise, they will halt that over there and provide you the output accordingly. Okay. Now, this is how you have to declare a particular middleware. Now, right now, what they have done, app.use, and inside this app.use, they have used this request, response, and next. That is showing you that it is a middleware. Okay. And inside this, whenever this middleware will called for a particular endpoint, then it will provide you the time at which the route is accessed. Okay, so this is what we are going to cover in this middleware section. And this next function is basically calling the next middleware. Suppose if there is no middleware, then it will call the response phase over there to get the final output. So this is why we use this middleware section. Now a simple middleware chain, what is happening in this example will actually let you know that how middleware actually works. So first of all, if you want to use middleware, then you have to import your Express library over there, creating the app instance for that. Now, app.use, you want to use your middleware, which is request, response, and next parameters over there. And it is consoling that middleware one, this always runs. Okay. After this, you are calling this next function, which will check that is there any other middleware over there? Yes, there is the middleware over here. So it will call this function. It will log like middleware 2. This always runs. Okay. Then again, the next function will call. Now it will actually see now, when you hit this app.get slash endpoint, what will happen? First of all, this middleware will get executed. Then this middleware will get executed. Then after that, you will get the final response as there is no more middleware over here. So you will get the final response accordingly and get hello world over there after that. So let's try to execute in VS Code and let's see how we are getting the output over here. Just a second. Okay. So here it is, just pasting the code over here. Okay. Now, when I actually do this, suppose app.get slash start. Okay. Now let's go to our start endpoint. For this, what I have to do, I have to change it to start. Now I have entered the start. When I click enter, hello world is coming over here. But one more thing, that inside my terminal, before getting that hello world, actually these things have been logged over here, which is middleware 1, this always run, and then middleware 2, this always run. After requesting something, the middleware will get called, and after the execution of each middleware, finally the request response will come at your end. Okay, so if someone of you will be thinking like this hello world is executed first, then the middleware is get executed, that is wrong. When you hit it this particular query, Okay, then just a second. Yes. So when you have hit this particular endpoint, then the middleware is get logged and they are providing their output in the terminal because we have used console.log. This will run, then this will run. Okay. And then finally, if there is no middleware, it will call the response phase and provide you the particular response, which is hello world in our case. Okay. So this is how middlewares execute. Just a second. Okay. So just try to execute it. Okay, so this is how these middleware things will work. Now there are some type of middleware like application level middleware. Suppose if you are having a get request at any route handler, it will application level middleware is going to execute every time. Okay, so suppose this bit of portion is written over here, what it is going to do, like const express require express, you are creating the express, importing your express library, creating its app instance, and then whenever the user will hit a particular endpoint, what will happen? That it will provide the time for each of the middleware to be executed over there. So this is a example. We can also try to execute in VS Code. Just a second. Okay, but this is actually incomplete, so we have to complete it also. Like here, what is happening? Okay, just a second. Let me check like which portion is left over here so that accordingly I can do that. Wait, there is application level middleware, then this route level middleware, error handling. Okay. Simple locker. Okay, so we will try to execute this middleware. Okay, because this is the same thing, and actually we are running out of time also. So I will let you know about this in the upcoming section. Right now, just let me tell you that how many type of middleware are there, because this is a theoretical concept, and then at the end of it, we are going to execute 2, 3 types of middleware over there. Okay, so just a second. This application level middleware is bound to express application. Bound to express application means that inside the whole project, you can, whenever you are as a user, you are hitting a particular endpoint, this middleware is going to execute at every endpoint, for every endpoint. Okay, so that's why we use it. App.use means in my whole application you can use this particular middleware, and if we want to use a particular method, then after this method we can change it like get, post, put, delete over there. Okay, then there is router level middleware. Router level middleware is basically defined for a particular route. Means if user is going to hit this particular route like slash user slash id, then only my middleware have this middleware have to execute. So what is the difference? There we were using app.use, here we are using router.use. To create a middleware up to a router level, you have to use this express.router over here. Right now, in the previous example, what we were doing, we were using only express so that it can be done to the whole application. But if you want to make it route specific, then you have to use express.route over here so that you can make it a router level middleware. Then there is error handling middleware. Error handling middleware is like if there is some a requested URL which have some error, and if you want to handle that particular error, then you can use this error handling middleware. It has 4 parameters over there. How the first parameter is error parameter and other 3 parameter are same. So uh, in error handling parameter, it is must that error parameter with other 3 parameter must be present over there. Okay, and then you can pass this error or throw this error to the next middleware accordingly. There is some built-in middleware also like Express.json. This is important, but suppose from here, then inside this postman section, let me just open my postman. Okay, new request. In this postman section, for this post, suppose if I have to made a post request, okay, at a particular endpoint, suppose this endpoint, then we have to send some data over there. We have to send it in JSON format. So from here, I have to change it to JSON format. JSON format means like this. Suppose if I have to enter the name, then the value for the name. Okay, key value attribute is there. This is the JSON content. This you can send at a particular URL, but for reading it or like as a client, you have sent it. But suppose if backend has to use it for the response, then they have to read this particular thing. And to read it, we have to use express.json so that it parse that particular JSON data over here so that it can be created into a readable format in the body, in the requested body. Here in this requested body, this is inside in your JSON format. As a client, you have sent it to the backend, but it is not readable. So for it to get response, we use this express.json function over there, which is a built-in middleware, and the code for it is actually written, and we just have to use it in Express. Then there is express.url encoded for the form section. For the data of form section, we are going to use this. Then express static to make the function static files available in your public folder, and express.router. We have already seen it that to create a route folder, specific route middleware, we are going to use it. Okay, then there is third party middleware. Like how many type of middleware are there? Four type of middleware are there. First one is application level middleware. Second one is your router level middleware. Third one is your this built-in middleware. Then we are going to see third party middleware. You have to install these third party middleware before using them. One of the famous third party middleware is CORS. CORS stands for Cross Origin Resource Sharing. When you are going to integrate your front end with back end and you are going to create some project having both of them, then you have to use this particular middleware, which is CORS. What it do? Basically, see, your front end is hosted at a particular port number and your backend is hosted on different port number. If you are requesting something from your front end to backend, then that request, because of security purpose, is rejected because you are at different origins and the port number is different. So our browser will actually block that request. So to make that request familiar to the backend, we use this CORS over there, CORS middleware over there, which will tell the browser that the upcoming request is from safe side. So you can you can say accept that and provide the output accordingly. So for that we use that. Then there is Helmet, Morgan, compression, and cookie parser middlewares also there. So for these middlewares to use in your you can say code, you have to install that. So npm install Helmet, Morgan, CORS, compression, and cookie parser. Like that, you can use install that. And to import that in your web, you can say project, you can use require and then the name of your specific middleware. Okay. Now we are going to see about how we can create a custom middleware at our end. Custom middleware means that you are going to write the code for that particular middleware at your end. Okay, so let's try to see about this middleware, which is request logger middleware. Let's try to copy this code in our VS Code and then we are going to execute it. Okay, then it will be clear to you that how we are doing this. So first of all, this is incomplete code. Why this is incomplete? First of all, we haven't imported our Express library and created it instance. So let's first complete this code. Const express equals to require express. Just a second, I have to use one braces over here. Okay. Then the second line will what we have to done over here? We have to create an instance of it. Const app equals to express function. Call it over here. Okay, like this, you have created the instance for it. Now you are using .app.your requested logger middleware, but for using a particular middleware, there must be a request on that it can be executed. So I am creating a request like app.get, simple thing. We have already seen it. Just making it one more time. Like if a user is accessing this slash endpoint, then call your request, comma, response function over here. And inside this, provide the response dot send. Like suppose for this, I want it to be hello world. Okay. Then same thing I can copy for another URL. Suppose, uh, okay. Now here I can change it to Vansh, and from word, let me change it to Vansh again. Okay. This is how we have done it. Created two endpoints. Whenever a user is going to hit this particular endpoint, what will happen? The middleware will get locked first. Okay. So now everything is proper, but to get the output from web browser, you have to actually listen at a particular port. So how we have to do that? App.listen. Now every one of you is familiar with this. Enter a particular port number. Suppose 9899 is the port number where I want to listen it. Okay. Then create a function for it, which will be a arrow function. And inside it, I will write some console.log. Okay. And what we can provide it, like we can provide it running at 9899. Okay. I guess it is good. Okay. So let's go to our localhost 9899 and let's see the output that what we are getting. This is localhost 8080, but we have to go to 9899. When I'm going to hit it, okay, hello world is coming. In also check one thing that when I hit this route slash, it is providing me the output. At the same time, it is providing me this time. From where this time is coming? It is coming from my request logger middleware. What will happen under the hood that as a user, you have sent some request, then this request before getting to the request response phase, meet with your middleware over there, which is the application level middleware. Why it is application level middleware? Because we are using app.use, means use this particular middleware throughout your application. This will get called, what it will do? It will provide you the new date and the time for that, timestamp for that, at which you have made a particular request. Like here we have made the get request for a particular URL. So that you are getting over here, like at date is there, timing is there, you have made a get request for it. Suppose now if I want to make the request to slash Vansh, then let's see that how the output will change. Okay, so slash Vansh, hello Vansh is coming. Okay, this is good. But I also want to check that is the middleware now executed or not. Okay, now, yes, you can see this. We are getting like get slash Vansh and then the timing for it. Okay, so this is how we have to execute it. Just a second. Okay, so try it at your end. Okay. This is the basic concept of middleware, that how you can create a custom middleware. right now, suppose this middleware is something. Suppose in your website, you want to create an authentication middleware where you want to check the password for any user, like the password must be in this format, email must contain @ For that, we can create a authentication middleware. Why it is important? Like every time if a user want to sign in, this middleware will check that if the user have particular credential in correct format or not. If that is not in the correct format, then it will provide us the error accordingly. Otherwise, will provide us the login page or other middlewares over there. Okay, so this is the benefit. In the big websites, what will happen that every user before use it have to create an account and sign up over there. So for writing this code in every time when a user is calling this is more hectic. So we are creating a middleware for that. And whenever is the user is signing up or logging in, this middleware will get called, check the credentials over there and provide you the output accordingly. So the same thing is happening in this authentication middleware. Just try to execute this code and then we are going to see about this application level middleware, which is authentication middleware. Okay, then we'll check this output. So just try to provide me the output of this one, which I have already sent to you. Okay, have anyone executed it? Okay, great, Abhishek. So now let's continue with our authentication middleware. First of all, let's see that what is written inside our authentication middleware. Then we are going to try to execute it. First of all, created a middleware having name authenticate. Okay, how it is a middleware? Because it is taking three things from us. Request response was already there. Now this next function is there. What is the use of this next function? So that it can call the upcoming middleware in the chain. Okay, now see what is happening through this line. Const auth header means you want to fetch a auth header value from where request.headers means inside your request URL, you want to append header section and inside that this authorization value so that it can be like see here in if I go to this Postman tool and let you take it from here. Yes. Are you able to see this header section? These header section have some values over there like key and value. Okay. So from this header section, we want to fetch some value. Like here, we want to fetch some author head value from this. Okay. If the value is there in our header section, then it will execute. Otherwise, it will throw us an error like authentication is required. Okay. Then what will happen? That const token, we are fetching the token value from the auth header. Means in the auth header, suppose in the auth header from where the value is coming, it is coming from our header section in authorization key. Okay. So if I put here this authorization key and then the value for it, then this value can be fetched in our token section. I will let you know one more time about this bit of code when we try to execute it. Okay, then it will be more clear that why we are using the split operator over here, why this one is written over here. It will be clear to you then. Then it will check that whatever you have passed is that same as this secret token. If yes, then provide the response like ID 123 and username. Otherwise, provide the response invalid user. Okay, and when this thing will happen, when you enter this endpoint /API/protected. So it will provide you the message protected data and user, which is the user inside your requested URL. Okay. And what is the user inside the requested user? The ID 123 and username John is there. Okay. So let's try to execute it. and then it will be more clear. So just a second, let me copy it. Index.js. I have to change it. Okay. Pasted this code over here. Okay. Now see what will happen. Suppose if I go to my postman and here get method is there, then suppose for this, I have suppose let me just check that what are the endpoints for it. First one is API protected. Okay. And okay, so we have to go to our API slash protected. Suppose I am hitting this endpoint. Let's see what will happen. It is saying me that authentication is required. Okay. Okay. So they are saying that authentication is required. Now, why authentication is required? Because we have put the condition over here. If authentication is not there, you will get the response authentication is required. So for authentication, what we have to do? We have to pass inside our requested body the header section as the authorization, and this authorization have some value over there. So let's check what will happen in my localhost. Here in the header section, I will put this authorization. Okay, authorization is there. Now, before giving this value, I will use this bearer method over there. And I will also tell you that why we are using this bearer. Okay. And then the secret token. Suppose, are you able to see that in this if condition, I want my token to be secret token. This is the, if this condition will match, then only I can get the access of my username and ID. Okay. So what I am doing inside it, after bearer, I am providing my secret token. Now, suppose if I am sending this. So are you able to see message protected data user, and the user details are shown over here. Okay. Why this user detail are shown over here? Because the condition is now true. The token you have passed is same as this secret token written over here. So that's why this requested dot user will get the value of this. And when you are actually providing the response, here you are getting user as user dot request dot user, and request dot user is this way. Okay, so that's why you are getting the output accordingly, like message is protecting data, and inside this user value you are getting the user. Suppose if I change the token like here and then again send it. Okay, I have to actually do one thing. Just a second. I will change it. No, I have to close the terminal. Then I have to execute one more time. Yes. Now, if I try to send it with this, okay, why I'm not getting the error? The token must be same as the secret token over here. Okay. Suppose I again got to this new HTTP request. Now in header section, what I have to do? Authorization. Okay. Then this bearer, and then suppose bunch as the token name. And then if I send it, okay, so we have to also put this. Okay. So it is saying me that header name must be valid HTTP token, means the token is not matched over here. Why it is saying this? Because the token name for us is secret token. So that's why it is not providing us any output. Now, one more thing I want to tell you, that why this bearer we are using over here. Okay, so see, when you go to travel, okay, suppose if you are going to travel while with train, so you purchase a ticket. That ticket you keep it with you, okay? And when the TT will check your ticket, you just show them the ticket. So basically, the secret token, uh, here we are providing the secret token like after bearer. This bearer is actually you, and this token is actually your ticket. So whenever someone is going to ask you about your token, then you are going to show it to them. Okay. So now what, how we have separated this bearer and token differently from this line. Okay, see what will happen. You will go to your auth header, then use this split. Split at space means there is written bearer token. Suppose bearer token is written, you are going to split that space and create a array. So at the first index, this bearer will be stored, and at the second index this bunch will be stored. So basically a array of two element will be generated. At the first index the bearer is stored, at the first index the bunch is stored. Okay, and this is basically your token. Bunch is the token over here. So this, see, index 1 means just provide me the value appended at index 1, which is your actual token. So from this, you are actually providing the token value. Whatever you are sending through Postman is inside your token through this bit of code. Now this is checked with the secret token, and then it is working fine. Okay. So please check it at your end. Try to execute this, and I think that it is clear to you that why we are using a split operator, that it will going to split at space and then create an array of elements, like two elements over there, because there are two, one space, and after that there is bearer and space and then token over there. So whatever is stored at the first index will be evaluated to our token value. Okay. And then this condition will be checked like token equal to secret token. Okay. So if the user has sent it the bearer as secret token, then only this condition will get matched and you will see the response accordingly. So just try to execute this code. Okay. And let me know if you are facing any problem in that. So this is how we are going to create a custom middleware at our end and going to use it in our website. I guess it is clear to you, and we are also now just provide me the output of this. What we have covered, we have seen that how we are going to use Express, what is Express, then the middleware, types of middleware, a bit of theoretical part we have covered. Application level middleware is there, router level middleware is there, built-in middleware and custom middleware or third-party middleware is also there. Okay, so we have seen that each and everything over there. Then executed this bit of code, how to use Postman. Postman is a client-side tool through which you can access any method over here. Let me just go to Postman. Suppose if you want to use put to update something, you can do that. If you want to use delete to delete some data over there, you can delete that from backend. Okay. If you want to add some data over there, you can use post over there. Okay. So like this, we have done it. So this is how we have to do it. Like we have done it. Now in the tomorrow session, I will tell you about one more example regarding this. Okay, where of a particular middleware where we are going to check some condition of a user. Suppose if we are going to create a middleware for verification purpose, then what things we require, that the username must be at least of 6 characters. Okay, the email must be registered once only, and the password must contain some different characters and length over there. Okay, so for that we are going to write a middleware in the upcoming session and then try to execute it at our end. Okay, and we'll see the response accordingly. Okay, good, Vivek. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I have tell you about this through Postman. You can also use this Thunder client. Thunder client is also there. Okay. A tool which you can use as a client side to send some request. This is the Thunder client. Here you can append new requests. Okay. Like this. So you can do it at your end also. If there is any doubt, then you can ask. And if someone is facing issue while getting the output, then they can also let me know about that. Have everyone executed it? Manali, Isha, Abhishek, Vishal, have you executed it, guys? Is it clear? Just respond in the chat box. Okay, great, Abhishek. Okay, guys, so I guess it is clear to you. If everything is clear, then we can just wrap this session. I hope you have enjoyed it and have a fair about idea about middlewares and Express now. Okay, good, Manali. So great. Okay, so good, Isha. I guess today every one of you have executed the code, so that's great. Okay, guys. So thank you so much, guys, for joining. If there is no doubt, then you can just leave the session. Otherwise, if there is a doubt, just raise your hand. I will take them one by one. Thank you,
Thank you.
Vivek. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
everyone. Thank you. So now you can leave the session, guys. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you tomorrow. Happy learning.